You've created a PR campaign, you've built your media list, you've written your press release, and then you've sent it out to the press and crickets. But that doesn't mean you haven't landed coverage, doesn't mean you haven't landed links. It just means you don't know how to find them yet. And today I'll show you 3 simple ways to track down your links in the media using Google, Talkwalker Alerts, and Ahrefs. And as always, if you want guaranteed high authority coverage, check out our website weeare.co.uk, and we help brands get featured in some of the biggest websites in the world. So let's jump into it. Why do we track our links? First of all, we need to spot unlinked brand mentions, because if we know where they're coming from, we can request a backlink from that journalist. We've done all the hard work, so now it's about following up and trying to get that link live. Secondly, we need to report to people, whether that's a manager, a client, or other key stakeholders within the business. We need to show the results we get from digital PR, and knowing where our links come from is a part of that. So let's jump into Google first of all. And I've just used Boohoo. They're not a client of ours, but just to show you without going into our actual clients, if we put their name in quotes, it will then show you where they've been featured in the media. So what you want to do is create a spokesperson for your company, or have a spokesperson within your company with a unique name. Sometimes that makes it much easier to find your coverage in the press, but you want to use someone that you can search for. If that name is quite common, then it makes this a little bit harder to do, but sometimes that's all you're left with. So, or you can search your brand name. And what we tend to do is look at recent, so let's say we know a press release has gone out, maybe yesterday, the day before, or a few days ago. We can look at the past week to see where our brand has been mentioned. And as you can see, Boohoo has been mentioned quite a lot in the media over the last week. But for smaller brands, maybe you'd only have 2 results here, and then you can see where you've been covered. The second way is through a company called Talkwalker Alerts. And this is the tab, sorry. And what you do here, once again, is put your expert or your brand in quotes. So maybe we want to do our own, Weeare, and then how often. I like to do it as it happens, and I also put in all results. Now, when you create this alert, or when you create an account and create alert, basically then this system will look for places where your brand is mentioned and then send it to your email address. I like to use these settings simply because it's nice to know when an article goes live. If you get an unlinked brand mention, if you can email that journalist straight away as it happens, then chances are they're still working on that story, or they're still in the system, so they can update your link much quicker. And I found we get the best results that way. If we use all results, we do get places which are not relevant, but you can quickly filter through them to see if you're in the Daily Mail or the Sun or wherever that may be. So that's another cool one. It's free and it works really well. Another one we like to use is simply going to Ahrefs. So we've picked a big website once again, not to give any of our clients' details away, and we've had a look at their backlinks. And what you can do is filter by first seen, or you can go to new and then show links across the last month, last 7 days, last 24 hours. And as you can see in here, if this was our brand, you'd be able to see any places that we've now been featured. So using those 3 ways is a great way of finding places where you featured in the press when you don't know any different. I'd recommend setting them all up and using a combination. By using all 3 of them together, you're less likely to miss a mention or coverage in the press, and you'll be able to report your wins accurately. So finding your media links or media mentions doesn't have to be complicated. Using these 3 ways alone can help you find the majority of your links. Of course, there's paid solutions, but if you want to keep your costs down, these are the 3 best ways that I have found. If you know of any other ways, please leave a comment below and I'll make a video on that in the future. If this was useful, please give us a like, subscribe, and even a share if you feel extra generous. Thank you.